We're back, guys. Episode 3 is here, the Jibrael Hindi Show. We were away for a while. I'm feeling under the weather, but when you have somebody of this magnitude that's willing to come in and take a day to talk to me, a person that I've wanted to share with many people close to my life, I actually get to share with the world. Guys, today we have our special guest, John Money Mason. John is a driven entrepreneur, author, sales trainer, and leadership coach, a true leader of leaders. He helps sales teams, professionals, master prospecting, and he teaches them how to close with confidence through his proven prospecting secrets framework. His approach is built on discipline, resilience, and simple, repeatable systems that turn potential into consistent profit. As a leadership coach and sales trainer, John blends mindset mastery with actionable strategy to help people perform at their highest levels. He's done that for me. His coaching style is high energy, direct, and rooted in clarity, confidence, and accountability. John's message is simple but powerful. Success isn't luck, sure isn't. It's consistent action, mental toughness, and relentless execution. I rarely ever do anything scripted, but I really wanted to emphasize my appreciation and admiration for John. John, pleasure to have you.
I appreciate it.
John, we have something new in your life, actually. And I was at the Vault conference a few months ago, and that's when you released this special material that I have here.
Yeah.
John Mason, Prospecting Secrets, forwarded by the great Patrick Bet-David. John, tell us your story.
So when you said something new, I thought you meant my fiance.
Oh, we can't forget about that.
Newly engaged.
We can't forget about that. Mooney, how are you? I'm sorry about that.
But no, for me, and I appreciate the introduction. Obviously, I'll tell the story how we met in the story. But going back out of college, played soccer all my life, had 8 knee surgeries, realized I can't play sports anymore. Found myself falling back into entertainment. I did the weddings, the bar mitzvahs, the corporate events. I was the entertainment MC guy.
Breakdancing.
B-boy, right? I had a lot of fun doing that. I traveled the world. And 2008 happened, recession hits. And like most people, their family went through some tough times. My dad's a school teacher, mom done different stuff, and they lost their retirement. Grandfather lost half his money in IRAs. My uncle lost $300,000 in his 401k at retirement. Other people losing financially. And I realized that I went to school, I got my degree, but I know nothing about money or finance.
Right.
And I said, I can't go through the rest of my life not understanding money, finance, taxes, how money works. Because if we're all working for money, yet we don't keep it, what's the point? So I needed to learn a skill and a trait that I was afraid of, which is finance. Shopped around some companies, not a big fan of the corporate platform. And then one day my brother, who's in LA, says, I got someone I want you to meet. Patrick Bet-David. So Patrick and I get on a call. This is going back March of 2009. He invites me to a convention. I fly out to LA on a 6-day notice. Me and him spend literally every day together. And from our relationship, how we connected, how Patrick is, I said, I'm all in. I said, Pat, what do you need me to do? He says, go home, get licensed. How do I do that? He says, we don't know, because I'm in South Florida. He's in California. I fly to South Florida, get my insurance license, and I fly back and forth every other month to learn the business, how to run an office, how to become a professional insurance agent, and started building up the office down there. Then I moved from South Florida to Orlando, Jacksonville to Orlando. Now, 16 years later, I became an equity partner office with the firm Integrity. We sold the company, obviously. Still growing the firm, but it's been amazing. 16 years in the financial business. But what's funny is you and I met, and you'll love this story. You and I met at State and Liberty in 2021 or 22.
Boulevard.
Yeah, 21, I think, because I forgot my shirt. We had an event at the Breakers Hotel.
I remember even saying the Breakers, yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't have a shirt, and I'm walking down Las Olas because I had a lunch with some people, and I see this thing, athletic wear. I walk in. You walk in as well. I'm like, this guy's freaking jacked. What the hell does he do? And I'm like, what do you do? Oh, you're an attorney. So we started just chatting away. We put the shirts on. We started modeling for each other.
Like, these are nice.
It's like, what is this? This is amazing.
I remember that.
And next thing you know, our entire wardrobe is all State and Liberty. So shout out to State and Liberty.
I'm even wearing their stuff right now. I'm not even kidding. This wasn't even set up.
So, but it's been, and then we kept in touch, and then got reconnected again as well a little while ago.
Let me ask you something here. This is kind of going off topic, but it does apply to your vision.
Sure.
And not necessarily vision in your own business, but also your vision in people. You mentioned you were introduced to Patrick Bet-David. Obviously, back then, Patrick Bet-David is not PBD as he is right now. But you clearly and concisely said, when I talked to him, I was all in. There's obviously something, because somebody at your, where you're at right now, you weren't always there. But you did have the ability to see a certain type of person. What is it that you saw in Patrick that made you make that right move? You could have gone anywhere,
There's a lot of phrases. One of my favorite is, don't let your talent take you where your character can't keep you. Patrick showed me his character from the first time I met with him. Mm-hmm. Very transparent, very humble, very relaxed, and he wasn't putting on a show.
Sure.
Patrick was being Patrick.
Sure.
And he also read me well. So when I went for the interview, I flew out there. He was working for a different company before he started the insurance agency. And I looked up everything online, found the good, the bad, the ugly, put it into a manila folder. I sit with Patrick, open it up. We addressed everything one by one. I closed it. I said, sounds good, let's talk.
Right.
And for a 20-minute conversation turned into an hour conversation. And just had a good time. So the fact is, he wasn't overselling. He was being transparent. So I knew Patrick's character, because what Patrick says, he does. And that's the best part. And he's always done that from the moment that I met him. So when I first met him, he was like that. But what allowed me to keep going back to learn from him and be loyal to him was that he kept doing what he would say over and over again. And there was no BS with him. Right. And those that work with him now, you've seen it.
Of course.
He's a one-of-one kind of guy.
He is. And, I work closely with this team.
They love you, by the way. They talk about you a lot behind your back.
We do business together. And I get the same sense of just being a straight shooter. Mm-hmm. No bullshit. Yeah. Always thinking at the higher level, thinking about tomorrow, thinking about the future.
And some people can't handle that.
Yeah.
They don't like the accountability.
I can only handle it that way.
Yeah. They don't like the accountability. Yeah. They don't like... So, but I appreciate that. That's where we're on the same page. Yeah.
For sure. Now, let's go back to prospecting secrets. Tell me, what made you think about even taking that journey of writing that book and just opening it up to the world?
Yeah, and you said a lot of viewers are attorneys here, entrepreneurs,
Correct.
business people that are watching this, right?
Absolutely.
So what's the biggest challenge that most people in business have? It's not closing a sale.
Getting business.
It's getting business to sell.
Yep.
You might be the best baker, but if you have no one to sell to, your bakery is out of business. You might be the best attorney. If you have no one to defend, you're out of business. You might be the best closer, but if you don't want to close, you're out.
Absolutely.
So no matter what industry, you have to find. Finding is always the biggest issue.
Sure.
So I got into insurance. I worked my warm market first. I had a horrible warm market. I'm an entertainer. Mm-hmm. I just did your wedding. Now let me do your finances. There's no credibility. So I had to meet new people. And it's not that I had a bad reputation. It's just I wasn't known for finance.
You literally started from the trenches.
Started from the bottom. As far as I have to reinvent myself, which is going to be a very big topic. In the next...
got no book of business you're buying or book of business you're transferring over.
I don't. My degree's not in finance. I'm not good at sales. I'm a break dancer.
But I'm sure that's the best way it could have happened, right?
Sure, the blessing in disguise, 100%, because it brings out your character.
Correct.
So I literally had to learn how to meet people, network, build the business up. So I learned that my cold market was my best market because I had to learn how to turn strangers into friends. Now remember, this is 2009. Instagram wasn't around yet.
I know. The phones were.
Yeah, exactly. Cell phones. I think we're on the iPhone 1, right, or 2. So BlackBerry was big. BlackBerry was the phone. So I was learning how to get clients in it. Over time, I realized that I had to teach myself a lot of things. And I always wished that I had a fast track, a book that I could pick up that could just give me all the secrets, because I'd rather learn from someone else's mistakes. And there were no prospecting books. Every book is on sales. Zig Ziglar, sales. Yeah. Tom Hopkins, sales. Now you got, Grant Cardone's got great books. You got Andy Elliott's got some great books. Danny G just wrote a book. So all these guys have sales books.
Yeah, how to go
There's
through
nothing on
rebuttals, how to
prospecting.
close, but nothing about prospecting.
Yeah, so I said, wait a second. And I look at my insurance guys. I got a couple, I've licensed a couple thousand guys over the years. I said, what if we all learned how to get clients faster, and then not just once, but repeat clients over and over again? What if we got better at getting referrals and prospecting and everything? So I said, you know what? I got good at prospecting. Obviously, I built up the business, became a top 5 equity partner in integrity, et cetera, et cetera. But you know what? I think a book needs to be written for my guys. So first it was selfish. I wanted it just for my team.
Sure.
And then the Vault came out. I was talking to Patrick. I said, what if I sponsor the Vault? I'm going to use the book. So then I used the book as more versus just my business. Sure. I said, everyone needs to hear this. And that's what happened. I think prospecting is one of the most undertrained topics. But no matter what business you're in, whether you're an attorney, whether you own a restaurant, whether you're in life insurance, health insurance, car sales, solar, real estate, you need prospecting.
Obviously, prospecting is one of the 2 words that define the title of the book. And I'm sure there's people watching out there. In your words, what does prospecting mean exactly?
It's creating. It's creating. Prospecting is creating. No matter if you're doing, there's 4 markets. Let me break this down too. I don't know if you know. One is the warm market. You have to find a way to create opportunities with your warm market. Then you have your referral market, which is people putting their neck on the line for you. That comes down with credibility, repetition, experience, coming through, etc. Then you have social media now, which is changing every 30 seconds. So you have to get good at that. Right now we just talked about live streaming. We talked about how TikTok Live is on. It's different today. Then cold market. And I think a lot of people forgot how to have normal conversations.
Yeah, they have.
You and I met cold market.
Yep.
Most of my clients in business is cold market. People forgot how to have conversations.
And you know what? I got lucky because back in 2009, that's when you started hitting the phones, I guess, and doing those calls. That's also the time that I had experience, my first experience in sales. I was actually working as I had a Series 63. I was selling annuities over the phone. I think that's what it was, yeah. Over the phone. It was some little boutique firm. But we were also selling some products, and we were calling people in the UK. And at the time, the pound was 2 to 1. And I remember seeing guys next to me, having people from across the world sending them hundreds of thousands of dollars just on a phone call. That doesn't happen today anymore because it's a lot of scams and stuff going on there. But that was just so fascinating to me, understanding how speaking with a certain perception, cold, there's a lot more to it, but anything is possible. After I saw that, anything is possible. So.
And now we have Zooms. Now we have video conferences. So now that stuff would be more video.
Right.
Everything
exactly.
Everything changed.
That's true. That's true. So while you were writing this book, obviously Patrick forwards it. Give me his feedback on the book.
So the first thing is, wow. So I'm at the Yankees game with him. I'm in the owner's box with him, and he knew I was writing the book. And I brought him over to the corner. I think it was during like the 6th inning or something. I said, Pat, I have a favor. I don't ask a lot from Patrick because I'm so grateful for what he's done for me throughout my life and career as a personal mentor, coach, and friend. He's literally a big brother to me. I said, Pat, I have a favor. Would you mind forwarding the book? And he gives it a big smile. He says, absolutely. He says, Johnny, I don't do this for anybody. Like, he really does. Patrick's not forward books. He says, for you, I will. Because you also have to understand, Patrick personally recruited me, personally trained me, personally mentored me. And there's a track record of my success, and that's a direct relationship from Patrick.
Right.
So they say, you judge parents by how they raise their kids.
Right.
And you also judge parents by the grandkids. So with Patrick, him building up the insurance business first, and obviously Value Attainment, PVD Podcast, you see what's happening. But the insurance business is flourishing, and then it's not just stopping with me. It's going on that his system he developed, the skills that I developed through him,
and that's why I'm asking,
it's created 6-figure, 7-figure, multi-7-figure earners from everything. So by Patrick forwarding it, it's also because everything he's taught me as well is also in that book.
A lot of my models as a leader within my organization has been through watching, not really watching Patrick, but I work with people close to him, and the way that they behave and interact with me,
very similar.
And it's very special. And I've I've had the blessing that I've been able to replicate that in my organization.
Yeah.
But the reason I asked what did he think about it was because obviously we probably talk about leadership a lot more, between us than in the book.
Yeah.
But there is an essence of leadership when you're working with prospecting and having your team prospecting
100%.
the right way. So again, I was just asking because if he was someone that, number one, put his name behind it, and again, you worked with him all these years. What is it safe to say that a lot of the sauce that you have came from that formula?
100%,
I guess back then.
100%.
Yep.
I'd be the most naive person if I don't give Patrick credit for a lot of that. 100%. Patrick would always say, "I'll teach you 98% of what you need to know, but the 2%'s on you."
Right.
And that's the part you got to figure out. Going back to the leadership part, though, Patrick's a freaking driver. And I think we've lost that in a lot of leaders in different organizations where people are afraid to hold their people accountable. That was actually one of the secret sauces. And that still is a secret sauce. Holding people accountable, coming through, keeping your word. Wait a second. You told me and you committed to this. What happened between yesterday and today? What happened here? So Patrick has a very unique style. And he teaches us at SLS, at the Vault. But most people don't even listen. That's the craziest part. Here's the playbook. But if you don't apply it, that's on you. He'll call you out. He'll challenge you. But one of his secret sauces, he'll always end with love.
Yeah.
I remember this one time he's ripping me a new one about, I was in Jacksonville at the time. And I was lazy. I was reliant on text messages versus phone calls. We had an event coming up. Patrick's flying in and he's speaking. He calls to ask for the numbers. And I said, "Pat, I don't know." Don't ever say that.
Right. That's not a good answer.
But that's my fault. I screwed up.
He thinks he's blind by saying that.
I screwed up.
Yeah.
And for 10 minutes, he's getting on me. I said, "All right, Pat, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to hit the phones. Give me 2 hours. I'll get you an updated number." He ended the call. "Johnny, yeah, who loves you, buddy? You do, Pat. Okay, go get him." End the call. Boom, boom, boom. Phone call. Literally, we packed the freaking house and had the best event we've ever had. But you want to get to a point as an independent leader where you don't need that phone call from your leader.
Right.
And that's the part that I've learned as well.
Of course.
Patrick said one day, "Johnny, I'm not going to be around to do this." And I'm like, "No, you're always going to be around." No, that day came. Like, damn.
Yeah.
So then you realize as a parent lets their kids go to school, they grow up and mature, what kind of leader you are by how you've trained and developed other leaders. So Pat said he's been a leader of leader. I agree with that. He's developed a lot of other leaders. I do talk about that in the book as well. But I think right now, if they're watching the show, they're watching you, you're an independent leader, but you've also trained other leaders.
Correct.
And there's also a track record. Success leaves clues, they leave little crumbs. It's there, but you have to be willing. You don't just want it. You have to be willing to go through it, just like the bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I want that physique, but are you willing to go through the process?
Right.
Did you see my breakfast? You don't want to do that.
Right.
You're not willing to.
Right.
So that's the difference too.
Yeah, I would have never seen. What you just said is really is the fact. Is my time right now with my law practice, especially, is just really building future leaders, and it's so fun to be doing that and molding and watching them grow and having that back and forth that you just described, calling them out, ending them with love. Does that sound familiar, guys? I have my team back there.
But you need that.
Yeah.
That's the human element. People are missing the human element. They're afraid of that.
But you know what? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but ending it with love kind of gives you an extra pass to go fucking hard. You know what I'm saying? And I do. And
But
I
people
do.
think
that's why
that-
I have the best.
Yeah.
you know?
He doesn't like me because he's on me. No, because he's on you, he sees potential in you. The biggest thing I learned is when Patrick stops calling me, I'm in trouble. The fact that he's giving me attention, he's on me, means he
Yes.
believes me so much that you're not performing to potential. I'm not bothering Jimmy and Joey because they ain't going nowhere. You are.
1,000%.
So I believe in you. I know you can, but you're not living up to your potential. And that's the part where if you are on one of your guys, they should know that, damn, he believes in me so much. Awesome. Give me more. And turn that into, maybe you're saying, hey, you're having a bad day. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It means your performance is not where it needs to be.
For sure.
You suck. No, your performance sucks, not you as a person suck. You have to separate the two. So I think if you're on your guys, that means you believe in them and they should take that as a privilege.
Yeah, and a lot of my team is probably watching here, and I have a big team. And yes, there are those guys, and it's just a fact of life. It's a fact of business that I'm on them more, and it is true. they're performing better. But in the past, you know, as I was hiring more, as I was developing leaders earlier on, this a few years ago, I was a little bit less conscious of the perception that's put out when you do put emphasis on those stronger guys in there. And hopefully that's caused an effect on the other guys. But I always say something, it's really panned out to be this way. It's kind of my philosophy in the firm. I don't fire people. People fire themselves. And they just fall because we're all making strides, right? And when you have that approach where you give everybody a fair shot in there, you know, you end up at the end of the day with the cream of the crop. And that's why you have that at your organization.
Let me ask you this then, because you've developed leaders. What would you say 1, 2, or 3 are some of the bigger mistakes you've made in your past in being a leader, developing leaders, or even selecting people to work with? What would you say are 1 or 2 things that come to mind that I can learn from as a leader?
Well, one thing that has definitely made a difference in the outcome of the quality that I retain is I'm looking for 4 principles. And these 4 principles is something that everybody must have in my office. And if they don't have it, I don't care how skilled you are.
Okay.
Honesty, integrity, loyalty, and accountability. It's amazing how, you know, someone like us can mention these 4 words. And I know you as a friend and how much it means to us in here. And we forget that to a lot of people, these are just words and they're meaningless. By staying away from those individuals, it's kind of just given me closer access to that top 1% that I'm striving to find. So, and it's interesting because we didn't even talk about skill yet, you know? So for me, I think that's...
You can teach that.
You can teach that. But you know, when shit hits the fan, you know, and those guys are still around, they have your back, and they're rolling through the punches, you can't teach that.
No. So leadership mistakes, I mean, I can give you 3,000 I've made over the years. The biggest thing is I was, as a type A personality, same as you, I was attracted to personality over performance. So I got easily seduced by the talker. I'm gonna go crush it, I'm gonna go kill them. And they're the biggest pansy ass. But then you got the quiet person in the corner, doesn't say much. And then your biggest performer. I had to reinvent myself, how I looked at things. I needed to start looking to work with performance over personality. So the better that I got with performance over personality, I started building the business better. Another one is patience. You know, you have to be aggressively patient with yourself, but more importantly, aggressively patient with other people. And you have to be very forgiving. You can't expect perfection, but it's all about progress. And I would expect someone to be like me. They're not going to be like me. They're going to be their best version. So I had to look at their best version as far as what they are capable of being, pour that mindset into them, and be patient with them and allow it to grow. How long have you been working out?
Probably since I was 16 years old.
So you're 17 years, 18 years old now, right? So, but 20 years, okay? You're not going to get this physique in 6 months. You got to be consistently patient, but you have to be pushing and pushing and pushing. So my biggest challenge is I would get very aggressive, almost condescending with my guys because I expected more and I did not know how to properly, maturely communicate that. So over time, Patrick even called me out on this before, I had to learn how to communicate what I expect and then how to hold them accountable without being condescending.
Yes. And that whole dynamic that you just described, there has certainly, I mean, it's a direct correlation in my growth of my businesses and my ability to work on that patience dynamic, being able to make sure that, and it's not something that comes overnight. No. I mean, at first you're not even cognizant. You're like, why are they not like, right? Like, what's wrong with you, right? Literally, I would say that, right? Like, what's wrong with you, you know? But it's amazing how just sometimes little changes like that make the hugest of differences. And I'm in a position now, honestly, where I'm in the past, I was so stubborn on my way. I've noticed as I've taken it back a little bit, I've been more patient, willing to look at it from another perspective. Things have just been so much more amazing. It's like with leadership.
You ever play golf?
Yep.
Frustrating as hell, ain't it?
Yep.
If you grip, which is a weird grip, right? If you if you're not hitting straight and you turn the club a little bit too much,
just
it goes the other way.
Yep.
If you turn a little bit too much
Goes
other way,
this way.
it's that way.
Yep.
So you have to make little adjustments, and the littlest adjustment
That's what it is.
will give you the biggest result.
That's
but
what it is.
It also takes time to master the grip. It takes time to master how much you have to adjust.
And you don't have to swing hard, which
Yeah.
is equivalent to not yelling.
Because-
it's just, yeah.
Because here's what I was told that was frustrating about me. If you adjust too much, it becomes a flip-flop.
Mm-hmm.
And you see politicians flip-flop all the time. So if you flip-flop on your philosophy, it's frustrating because if you want to go with lack of clarity, you can't go anywhere. So if you as a leader are clear, like you said, there's 4 things to look for. You're clear. If you're not clear as a leader, there's confusion.
Of course.
And there's no decision, so there's nowhere to go.
Clarity
But
is
if you keep
important.
flip-flopping on what you're looking
No.
for, flip-flopping on your philosophy, it's never going to take off. So the faster you get clear about what you're looking for and the faster you are about your philosophy, then you can just go and nothing gets in your way. Everything else is just noise.
Absolutely. Back to prospecting. Somebody watching out there, perhaps they're interested in the book. Maybe they're just honestly don't have the time for it.
Mm-hmm.
What's one thing you can say in terms of where we are right now in this day and age? What is something that a lot of people are forgetting about in their journey through prospecting?
Leverage.
Leverage.
People forget about leverage. So we're taught to go to school, get a degree, get a job, and work until you, most people said die, but it's actually work till you retire.
Mm-hmm.
If people forgot that retirement part. But the fact is, if you have a job and you don't work, you don't get paid. Business owners have employees or agents or reps, whatever you want to call them, and they're getting paid whether they work or don't because they own the business. So it's more about being a business owner. So even if you're an employee, you have to learn how to get leverage. So if I'm an employee of a solar company, I need to have at least 10 to 15 different referral sources that come in.
Sure.
And I want to see how I can give back to them, because if you're relying on just you meeting always new people, it's not going to work. So you need to work on referral sources. You need to work on strategic partnerships. So
Leveraging relationships.
Yeah, so I'm in insurance. I've been in insurance 16 plus years, and we talked about this before. So one thing I love doing are executive bonus plans for C corps. Why? Because people that say, can I get a tax deduction off my life insurance? Yes, you can. What do you mean? Because it's considered a bonus.
Mm-hmm.
The premium, you can write off $1 million, $2 million off your C corp, fund that into a life insurance policy, and then what? Tax free on the back end plus the life insurance. I didn't know you can do that. Yeah, it's under the section 162. Da, 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 da. Okay.
That's what we worked on.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea is like, how many people do I know have C corps? Well, I don't know anybody with a C corp. Well, maybe an attorney or a CPA may know people that do those. So go meet the CPAs, go meet the attorneys, and guess what? See how many? My CPA, I give him at least one new client every single month. At least one client every month he gets from me. So in return, it's like, well, listen, I'm going to give it to you either way, because I know you do a good job.
Sure.
What I'd also appreciate
This is what I'm looking for. Yep.
is something back as well,
Yep.
but I give it to him first.
Yeah.
But I also have to be clear what I'm asking for. Do you happen to know anybody that owns a C corp that can benefit from this? If not, Keyman Insurance. Buy. There's all these things that we can do. So first, I have to know my products, and then what I'm looking for. So if you're in solar, if you're in real estate, if you're an attorney, find someone where you can share business back and forth, and then have a list of that. But make sure that you do your part first. Here's the secret. I'm not waiting for you to give me business.
Right.
I'm going to give you business, whether or not you give me business or not.
I'm the
Whether or
same way.
not.
I'm the same way.
Whether
Yep.
or not. And then we'll take it from there.
Always give first, right? That's how it is. Yeah.
But most people don't.
It's crazy. They don't. I don't understand it. But it's proven so successful to me. It's almost like the most obvious way to be.
I think there's a lot of pressure to perform between the quotas and the minimums and paying the bills and I get that part, but if you're in sales and there's no salary, you need a job to pay the bills, or either a supportive spouse or an inheritance or something, right? Yeah, make sure the bills are paid. But I always say the best way to sell is through inspiration, not desperation. If you're desperate, you have that commission breath, they're gonna feel that.
Right.
It's the same thing with prospecting. So if I'm calling my family and said, hey, I just started this I just got my real estate license. Let's sell your house. Hold on. You just got started. Why would I list with you? Or, hey, I'm in solar. Let's do this for your house. Hold on. Once you find out first, am I open to it? Would it be open? There's a level of let's have a conversation versus that high pressure.
Sure.
People don't like car sales. They don't like insurance people. They don't like salespeople because they think they're pushy.
Right.
No, it's their approach. So you got to change your approach a little bit. Prospecting is about your approach and creating. So people that are great at sales typically are great prospectors.
And, traditionally, I have not, at least from, I don't know, 15 years ago when I was selling these financial products, I haven't had to go into sales because as a lawyer, the type of law we do, we're just not selling. But now that I've, established my personal brand and I have this mentorships going on, that's why I had to tap back into you. With regards, you're clearly very passionate about this, okay? And that's why I wanted to have you here. And you're fortunately, you're showing that to the audience. But within the world you're in, are you right now doing live coaching? Are you doing seminars? How can people access you? How can people, other than the book, how can people do that?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I'm passionate about it because I know it works. And this has changed my life from living in my parents' house to borrowing money from my dad for rent to where I'm at today. I mean, it's freaking amazing. And I did that through prospecting, not just from things that I've learned, but what's also been taught to me.
Sure.
So if things have been taught to me, it's too selfish of me not to teach that, if that makes sense. So that's where I'm passionate about that. As far as getting a hold of me, I'm on Instagram. I know you'll post the tag. I appreciate that. I'm on Manect, which you have a great story about Manect.
Yeah.
Which is probably one of the best ways to get a hold of anybody is get on Manect. Hit them up, and then if you want to take it offline, go ahead. But at least get them on Manect.
That Manect, that's...
You have a good story for that. I mean,
Yeah.
you need to hit up Patrick on that.
Yeah.
But, hit me up on Manect.
What's your Instagram, just so people can hear it?
At John, Jon, Mason Money. Website's moneymace, MASE.com. You can find me on there, find the book on there, hit me up. I mean, it's me. I don't have AI bots doing it. It's me responding to you. You'll know it's my personality. But easy to get a hold of.
You know what? I think I am going to tell that Manect story really quickly because it applies to a couple things. Number one,
tell the whole story though.
Yeah,
the whole story.
We were in Vault Conference. I don't know, was that September? Maybe September 2025. We're at PBD Vault Conference, and I'm sitting up in the front, but not as up in the front as John because John is insider status. I was sponsor, right? And it was the middle, and I'll be honest with you. It was the middle of one of the presentations that Patrick was actually talking.
We'll meet that out. Don't worry.
We'll
cut that out.
But people were talking about Manect, and John was talking about Manect. He's like, you should get on there. Yep. You should get on there. And for you guys watching out there, what is Manect? It's a platform where consumers or individuals, they can reach out to the most talented individuals in any sector and talk to them directly. Okay. And John's like, you should get on there. And I said, you know what? Let me look at it.
But I was on you for a while.
You were. And I think I chose the wrong time to do it, but my intuition was right.
You did it. Yeah.
And I start filling it out during the seminar. And I'm like committed. I'm like filling out the whole thing. And I'm on there filling it out as an attorney educator for other attorneys that want to diversify their practice or implement consumer protection law into their practice. And I was on there for about 45 minutes. The seminar ended. In the halls, I'm sitting down on the floor, literally finishing this thing out. John walks by me. He's like, what are you doing? He's like going down the escalators. I'm like, I'm finishing up my Manect. He's like laughing at me with his wife. That's how I am. When I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone. But I really put a good quality Manect up. And 2 months later, I was actually in New York City. And I get a message from, I'm only gonna say the first name, Chad. And Chad's an attorney in the Southeast United States region, personal injury lawyer for 20 years, but he wants to diversify his practice, incorporate consumer protection law. Long story short, he was my first mentee, and it was a mid-six-figure sale. And that came in through Manect. So, John, I think I owe you a coffee. No, I'm just kidding.
I already got that. But here's the funny part about that. Here's another compliment to you, though. You actually applied.
Correct. That's where I wanted to go.
What most people don't do because, number one, you filled out Manect when you were in your peak state.
Correct. That's where I wanted to go.
You were in your peak state.
I don't take anything for granted. I always I'm acting with urgency, not leaving nothing on the table. I have that thing,
So in the middle of a conference, people are jacked up.
Yes.
They're just, I can't. And then rather than waiting to apply it, you applied it. When we say immediately, you took that literally.
Correct.
You were in peak state, you applied it, boom, and then that's what happened. And I think that's one thing people don't realize is just get it done.
In terms, yes, and in terms of leadership, what I teach my guys is Number one, speed and urgency. You have to act with a sense of speed and urgency. If you don't, you're just going to develop the wrong habit. You're going to kick the can. You're going to say later, tomorrow. I always say the time is always now. When you have something to do, fight that urge. Do it. Do it.
Let me ask
and then
you
you
this
start
one.
getting used to doing it, and then you get shit done.
On that part, being with the now, let's get it now. How many attorneys get out of law school? They're completely lost because they don't take massive action. They wait until they have the perfect interview or the perfect. What would you say if you go back 11 years, lawyer 11 years, all right? If you go back 11 years, you come out of law school, you're completely green. What would be the first 3 things that you would do, knowing what you know now, to become more, or at least put the odds in your favor to become more successful, whether it's to make more money, get a better job, start your own practice? What would you say are the first 3 steps that you would do coming out of law school? Great
question. The fortunate thing for me is I did one thing right in my life, which those 3 steps actually followed them. Okay, that's here's the thing. I am a firm believer that most lawyers, not all lawyers, okay, because not all lawyers are cut out for this, but most lawyers would do so much better on their own. Now, I completely understand that you have to go get experience. And that may be by working in the district attorney's office or as a public defender or working at a law firm to get experience. But you should be going into those channels with understanding that this is not going to be
long-term.
Yeah. Okay. And, I did that when I was in my second year of law school. I clerked for civil judge, and I also worked at civil law because I knew I wanted to open my own practice. But I also had entrepreneurial experience. Sure. Most people don't have entrepreneurial experience, but it's this day and age, you can learn this stuff watching and it. Number one, to answer the question, don't go into another firm looking to stay there forever.
Okay.
Number 2, understand, and this is the truth, with a law license, it's very easy to generate money. Very easy. As a matter of fact, I don't know anything out there easier, okay? If you know how to do it the right way. And I'm someone you can talk to about that. Number 3, very, 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 very important. Your reputation is everything, especially as a lawyer. There are people right now spending $500,000 for me to teach them how to enter a new practice area just based on my reputation, just based on my word, just based on them hearing from someone else that I've delivered on my promise to another person. And it's not only right now as an educator, but that's how I became number 1 over the last decade in my practice area.
Got it.
It's to that solid reputation, and also to lawyers out there, that's why I've done well with the judges. They know when I submit a motion, most of the time they don't have to check the citations.
They know who it is.
They know I'm not bullshitting. And the lawyers that I go against, they know that when we do a deal, I stick to it, makes life easier.
So EBR.
Your reputation.
So EBR. Yep. 1, 2, 3, EBR. E is experience. Get the job fast.
EBR.
Learn as much experience as you can, as fast as you can. So go in with the intention of, I need to learn as much as I can, as fast as I can, experience.
Write that down.
B is belief. I need to believe that this license will make me as much money. I know what I did is the right thing. Now I go make it work. Then R is your reputation protected. Easy to remember.
EBR team. You got that?
That's how I remember stuff too.
Yeah.
For me, there's so much acronyms and analogies out there. I like to put letters.
We had dinner last night. I think you had more acronyms than we had orders on the table, I think.
Yeah, steak is STK. If you're a server at a restaurant, you understand the game. But even we talked about prom.
Yes.
When people are networking, you're at events, how do you have a conversation? People don't know how to have a conversation when they're at networking events, they're at dinner parties, they're at restaurants, even out and about. It's prom. PROM. P is personal. Tell them about yourself, where you're from, what's your nationality, speak any languages. R is recreation. What do you like to do for fun? Sure. We're in Miami, you like the heat. Do you watch Mase play? O is occupation. What kind of work to do? How'd you get into that?
Yep.
Why would someone want to do that? What keeps you in it so long? And then M has 2 different meanings. It's meet. If you're at a networking event, it's who can I introduce you to? Who do you want to meet while you're here? If you're in real estate, I want to introduce you to a mortgage person just to have a conversation because you're at a networking event to go through the process. But if it's something they actually want to continue the relationship with, you want to set up a meeting outside of it. So
Very
either way,
important.
M is
Yep.
meat. So we talked about problem last night at dinner, and that acronym, those four things, is what I've been doing my entire career because I didn't have a warm market. Most people don't. You know, they're 21, 22, 23 coming out of school. They don't have the credibility yet. No one's taking them serious. So their warm market says, I like you,
Right.
but I don't trust you just yet.
Right.
I trust you as a person.
Right.
You just don't know what you're doing yet. You're still new. Let me know how that goes. So they have to go meet new people. And I think a lot of people don't have that skill set. They're afraid of approaching contact.
In your experience as a leader, how have you addressed the issue of consistency and stopping procrastination with your whoever you're training, whoever you're trying to work on, whoever you're trying to build up? I'm sure that's something you faced.
Sure.
Yeah.
It starts with me.
Yeah.
Starts with me. And I keep going back to Patrick because Patrick had such important impact in my life. When I moved to Jacksonville, when I moved to Orlando, he'd always call me. He says, Johnny, now's the best time to reinvent yourself and leave the bad habits behind you. Because no one knows me in Orlando. And I did that. And I kept getting better and better and better. If you're going to lead others, you have to lead yourself. The reason why you read books, you attend seminars, you get better is so you become more valuable
100%.
to other people. I can't teach you to make $1 million if I don't do it my damn self. So a lot of people fail in leadership because they're not growing themselves. That's number one. Going back to accountability, yes, I have to be disciplined with myself, with my schedule, with my diet, with my workout routine, with my relationship. I have to set the best example that I can, and then I have moral authority. Once I have moral authority, then I can communicate that to the rest of the team, but then I also have to be willing to have crucial conversations and hold young people accountable in a loving way, but with high standards. So it's a clear method of how you're going to communicate that and how you're going to lead.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It does. It does. We've talked a lot about a whole host of things, but I don't want to let this opportunity get away.
Tell me.
Is there something you really want to share with the viewers out there that you think would benefit them that we haven't touched on today?
Yeah, stop playing victim.
Yeah.
I think we have a lot
Yeah,
of
I hate
victims.
that.
I think we have a lot of victims
I hate
online,
that.
a lot of victims I see. I think people quit too soon because of negativity they read, or negative spouse, or negative friend, or negative family. Not everyone's going to believe in your freaking dreams. It's your dream. If you believe it, then go freaking do it.
And don't care what people say. Put those blinders on.
Because listen, you're going to have people that are going to, doubt you in the beginning, right? They're going to talk smack about
They'll doubt you all the way through.
I had friends in high school that I thought were friends, and more acquaintances, and I'm sure they're good people, but very negative.
Yeah.
Very negative. And I had to cut them off. Whether they cut me off or I cut them off, either way, I'm better off without it.
I know.
And then there's people that actually came back in my life later. Then I'm like, we should have been closer back in the day. Where the hell were you? So it's very interesting where I think a lot of people, they try something, it doesn't work, and then they fall right into victim mentality. They start blaming others.
And then they start hating on it.
Yeah. So the fact is, listen, we talked about the turnover rate. Insurance recruits a lot of people. 92% of insurance guys quit within 2 years. 8% make it. That's it.
Yeah.
But if you Google what industries create the most millionaires, it's insurance and finance.
Right.
So if you're an 8%er, you're killing it.
Right.
Attorneys, we said what, 4% dropout?
7%.
7% dropout of that.
Doctors were 4%.
4%, right?
Yeah.
But how long does it take to become a doctor? How
Yeah.
expensive is it, right? See, $300,000 for law school, give or take.
Yeah.
$300 for insurance.
Exactly. it's the inverse. Exactly.
If I'm putting $300,000,
it's the opposite curve.
Yeah. So if I'm putting $300,000 to become an insurance agent, I'm not going to quit so easily.
Right. You got a lot of skin in the game.
So because
there,
I put $300 and it doesn't work. No, it works, but you didn't want to do the work.
Yeah.
You don't want to read the books, go to the events, and develop yourself. So most people, I think, if you want to become successful, no matter what you do, stop blaming. Take more accountability. Take on more responsibility.
Correct.
And you eventually see your ability.
It's the truth. That is the truth. Well, John, pleasure to have you. As always, I say you got a hell of a mouthpiece, but it's value. Thank you for sharing everything you have. And I hope to have you on the show again. Thanks, John. Appreciate it.